I would first of all like to greet our viewers and listeners across Iteso and Uganda at large. That this is the team from Iteso Cultural Union, and we are here to give an update as regards activities to mark the third coronation anniversary of His Royal Highness Papa Paul Sunday Emolot Etomeleng, the Emorimor Papa Iteso. We all know that this activity should have been on the 22nd of this month, that is October, but there was a shift in date such that the activity will be held on the 25th, Saturday, 25th of October, in Kenya. But most of our people may not understand why we had to shift the date. It's because it coincided with the nominations of members of parliament. Most of them are being nominated on the 22nd and 23rd. So we saw it prudent that we shift the date to a weekend, that is on the 25th, to allow our sons and daughters who want to participate in our activities to finalize with their nominations, and then they will join us over the weekend when they're a bit free. So we are having that coronation, that's the third coronation. But besides the coronation, there are activities that to be take place prior to the coronation, and one of them is a run that we intend to raise funds for enabling our children to get to school. You know, we always have challenges with most of our children when it comes to issues of education. We want to raise funds for education fund. As we all know that the theme for the day is investing in girl and boy child education. That's the theme of the coronation anniversary. And one of the key activities that today will be the launch of the education fund. So as I said prior to the launch of the education fund, we are here to launch activities that are prior to that day. One of them, as I said, is the run that at a certain point my brother will give details. So this run is to raise funds for most of our vulnerable children who are fallen out of school. Others have failed to pay school fees. Others gotten out of the normal education process. They need to be skilled and all that. Others have, you know, our place also has challenges with teenage pregnancies, so early marriages. So most of these have affected the education of our children, and most of them get back to the institution, to Papa, to say, how can you help us advance our education? So because of that, we are overwhelmed. Today we are here to launch the kits that will go out to the public. So the details about how much and all that will be given by my colleague. But these kits, will urge our people out there to purchase these kits, because once you purchase them, that means you're supporting a child to get back to school. So we are here today to make sure that we launch these kits, and also we want to thank those who have been able to support us in this whole endeavor as we move into this. There are other activities as well that we are going to carry out before that launch of the fund. We're also going to be launching the academy, that is the Academic Development Foundation. There are also activities that I'll ask the minister to highlight of them before that day. We're also going to be launching our local print, that is our column newspaper, as one of also the activities for the day. But purposely why we're here today is to support the theme for the day, and that is issues of education. And the theme, as I said clearly, is supporting girl and boy child education. That is the core. That's why we're here, and we're trying to urge the public to come out, support us, purchase our kits, and make sure that we all participate in this run and participate in the activities that mark the third coronation anniversary. So let's all be there that day and make sure that we all support Papa the third, His Highness, Royal Highness Papa Paul Sunday Etomeleng the third, in all his activities endeavored to support the young generation, because we all know it is this generation that is supposed to take over from us. So once we don't nurture them, we'll have issues, because you know currently as we stand within our society, we have challenges with the young people. Most of them are falling out of school. We have different groups. We have the groups called Caribon, we have groups called the COP, and those social groups giving us a bit of problems within our communities. So this is the only opportunity, this is the only chance we have to salvage our people from this problem that we are having. And the only way to do it is for you, members of the public, to support us in these activities that are geared towards supporting issues of education of Iteso. Once you do that, you will put a mark on us as a people of Iteso. So we pray and urge all the sponsors, all those partners, and we urge other people to come in and sponsor this activity. We thank those who have been able to do it. I know my brother will highlight a few of the sponsors who have been able to come in, but I would only like to urge us to come out and give a lot of support to this activity as we move towards this day, and also invite all of us to be part and parcel of the coronation anniversary. So with these few remarks, I would like to ask my colleague and the head of the team that is going to manage the issues of the run to give highlights about the run, tell us exactly where and what we expect out of that run. So, my colleague.
Yes, thank you very much, Right Honorable Prime Minister, and members of the fourth estate, which is the media. My name is Eriaku Peter Emmanuel. I work in the institution as the Executive Director of the Development Arm of Iteso Cultural Union. And for this particular initiative, I am coordinating the Emorimor Coronation Run, which has been organized in an attempt to raise funds to kickstart what we call the Emorimor Education Fund. This activity was conceived out of analyzing the prevailing situation of the education levels, education sector in Iteso sub-region. Owing to a lot of factors like insecurity, high prevalence of HIV/AIDS brought about orphanhood, teenage pregnancies, a lot of our youth dropped out of school. And when they dropped out of school, they began by being unruly, and we called them WhatsApps. Over time, they graduated into some organized group, which we decided to call Ukadibom. As we are still there, the situation is getting worse. They have now advanced into what we are calling Owokiwo, who are now a security threat to us. Some people have brought on board interventions that are a little militant, but His Royal Highness Papa Emorimor, in his wisdom, looked at the situation and said, no, it is not the children to blame. It is the systems and the processes which have led them to where they are. And it's therefore our responsibility to find a way of addressing their plight. So one of the objectives of the Emorimor Education Fund, for which we are raising money through this run, is to establish what we call the Ate Skilling Institute, where such school dropouts, out of the factors I've listed, can be taken and trained on employable skills so that they can also begin a decent living. Also, in the background of all this, there are some students who are struggling with education up to S4, up to S5. They perform very well, but sometimes they get defeated. And you find someone with very good results from O level, very good results from A level, just dropping out and being frustrated. So again, His Royal Highness Papa Emorimor decided that through the Emorimor Education Fund, for which we are raising money through the run, let there be a scholarship scheme that can begin addressing the tuition challenges of such bright but disadvantaged sons and daughters of Iteso. There are also children who have worked hard with their parents and they have tried to go for some courses, vocational course here, vocational course that way, unfortunately, some of the skills that they get in those training do not match the demands of the market. So at the end of it, a parent gets frustrated. He sold all he had to educate the child. The child is frustrated. He did his best to study, but the skills he has are not matching the demands of the job market, of the industry in the place. So again, Emorimor Education Fund intends to set up training arrangements which match the skills required in the job market and in the industry, especially at the regional level as Iteso, at the national level, and also the global level. Now, when it comes to the Emorimor Education Fund, which we are using Emorimor Coronation Run to mobilize resources, this activity was kick-started at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel on the 26th of last month with a breakfast launch, which was organized by our official partner, Eastward and Eastman Establishments Limited. Today we are here to also launch it at our region to tell our people that yes, on the 18th of October 2025, we shall be flagging off the Emorimor Coronation Run 2025 under the theme Run for the Child, to raise money for the 3 objectives I already earlier mentioned. This run will be flagged off from Soroti Sports Ground. The route has already been mapped. It will have 2 components. One component will be 5 kilometers. The other component will be 10 kilometers. And we are now officially unveiling this kit and calling upon all sons and daughters of Iteso, all our development partners, all our well-wishers, and friends of the children to come support Papa Emorimor in his endeavor to mobilize money for that noble cause. This kit goes at 20,000 shillings if you are to buy it cash. But if you are far, we have other arrangements through which you can buy. There is the digital platform where you will pay 25. The 5,000 added is for delivery. You can also pay through mobile money. That will also be 25, such that the 5 is used for delivery. But if you come to our outlets with your 20,000, you will be given. And we are going to set up outlets. The main one is the very place we are sitting at, that is the Iteso Cultural Union head office. We shall also be establishing outlets in every district as guided by our chairpersons of the Iteso Cultural Union committees in the districts. So all in all, we call upon you, the media, support us in this. And it's going to be an annual event. For every coronation anniversary, there will be a marathon to continue raising money towards the 3 objectives that I've stated.
We are now beginning to surpass a level where people think that the solution to the problems in the public in affecting our communities, politicians, that if politicians have not spoken, there will be no solution for that problem. So we are trying to create a mindset change, that there are avenues we can be able to transition our communities without the voice of leaders, without the voice of political leaders. We ourselves can create solutions, and that's why we have begun with our clan model systems. We have the clan leaders as a cultural institution, is part of our structures. You as a cultural leader, what are you doing to solve some of the problems through your mobilization? It begins from the clan leaders, it comes to the district councillors, it comes to the district chairpersons, it comes to the cabinet ministers of the institution, And then we play the role of advocacy to government that these are the problems affecting our people. And we also negotiate with the government on how best we can be able to solve the problems affecting our people in our communities. And most of these problems are resonating with the agenda of government. We know that government is working day and night to to tackle the challenges, economic transformation, education, health. So we as the community stakeholders play a key role to a greater extent to support government to make sure that most of these goals are achievable. And that is why you see now, as a cultural institution, we are no longer thinking about fights. We are now focusing on putting Iteso where it should have been by now. So we are no longer talking about where Iteso was supposed to be. We are now walking a talk. And that is why you see, we are now saying, what do we need to do for our people? We have counted a number of challenges. One of them is education. Iteso is one of the areas where people think that the best school in the country should not come from. Iteso is one of the regions where people think that the worst performing school in this country must come out of Iteso. So we are trying to say no, a full stop to that. And as a cultural institution, we are engaging our people, we are engaging different partners, development partners. We are trying to talk to government and engage government. And we want to thank the government for its response and strengthening this cultural institution. That is why you see, today as we speak, we are here to tell the public about some of the things that we have done, because most people would have been asking, what is ICU doing? I have always encountered those questions. But we have this, what is ICU doing? We saw through the strong voice of the institution 2 weeks back, His Royal Highness had a one-on-one engagement with His Excellency, the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has now unlocked the opportunities in Soroti Flying School, which some of the leaders took decades. You know how old that flying school is, and Iteso has never had a share. When that institution, a vibrant institution, is seated on our land. Now we can proudly say we have secured 5 slots from Soroti Flying School at every intake, whether engineering, flight engineering, pilots, and so many other jobs, which are being distilled from there. That is one of the things that we said, this is where we were supposed to be by now. Imagine if it was 2 decades back when that system was activated. We would now be celebrating 80 pilots. We would be celebrating 80 flight engineers. So we have woken up and said we can use our voice, we can have engagements to see that most of the challenges facing our community, opportunities and so on, can be resolved through the united voice of the cultural institution. So I would also like to inform the public that we have had several diplomatic engagements. And as we speak, the Zulu Kingdom of South Africa is now having a partnership with the Iteso Cultural Institution, focusing on development, nothing but the development. We shall now see education opportunities unlocked in South Africa, and we want to see the people of Iteso, our children of Iteso, going to study in the Johannesburg University on scholarships through this kind of engagements. We have just opened the one with Aditya University in India, where we are now going to see that we have medical students coming out of Iteso, are being passed out from India, especially in medicine, to see that we have the powerful doctors who can be able to support Dr. Podoi, Dr. Dakun, Dr. Kiria, count them, those who are now aging out from Iteso. We are also trying to see that we can now emphasize on producing the civilized citizens. It begins from grooming the younger people. That's why the Akalia Development Foundation comes in. The Akalia Development Foundation is an entity which is going to be within Iteso Cultural Union and patroned, headed by Dr. Akaliait as a founder, to see to it that this issue of early marriages, which is currently hitting Teso. In 2011, we saw a youngest mother coming out of Teso. I was touched when I was covering a story with World Vision, a 12-year girl being operated in Soroti Regional Referral Hospital. So we have seen that I think our community needs mentorship of the young girls. So Akaliait Development Foundation will basically focus on mentoring the young girl and grooming them with cultural values. And when we stick to the cultural values as the people of Teso, you will realize our cultural values deter the young girls from getting married earlier. We used to keep virgin girls, and somebody would marry a girl, a woman when she's still a virgin. We can still have it done in our community, and we have started it with the academy. So Akaliait Development Foundation will also focus on strengthening the building up the economic strength of the women from families. That is why you see, we want to see better families as we focus on fighting the gender-based violence. And to fight the gender-based violence begins from a family that can be able to sustain itself economically. When a mother is able to provide to support the father, we believe that we can be able to curb the gender-based violence. So many families are in pain, are getting broken, are tearing apart, and it is affecting even the economic growth of the region. It is even affecting government from fulfilling its development agenda. Why? Instead of focusing on getting up in the morning to go and look for money in the market, a woman is crying because she was beaten yesterday. So we have said to support the government in fighting the gender-based violence. It is one of the components that can be found in Akaliait Development Foundation. Engaging women to be resourceful people who can sustain the economy of this country. It is part of the component now in the Iteso Cultural Union, and it has the component of guidance and counseling. Those families which are getting broken, those ones which are unstable, we are also building up a counseling department within the institution that can be able to sit them down. These are some of the cases which should have not reached the police, which should have not reached the court. But in most cases, they ask, what has the cultural institution done so far? We have created a solution, and Akaliait Development Foundation will focus on that. And by so doing, we believe we would have achieved one of our development goals of ensuring a civilized community which is economically sustainable. Now, we have just come out of another engagement that very soon we shall be able to call for one of the biggest press conferences, unveiling some of the partnership projects that we are working towards as a cultural institution. I want to assure the public that as a cultural institution, we are not sleeping day and night. We are working so hard, and within the 3 years' time that Papa, His Royal Highness, Papa Emorimor has spent, just 3 years, we have done what we should have done in the 12 years. We have covered what we should have covered in the 12 years. And for those who will be able to attend the coronation anniversary, we shall be able to unveil some of the achievements. As we speak right now, the public should know that over 200 of the children of Teso have joined different universities, different tertiary institutions, different nursing schools to do different courses through the lobby of the Iteso Cultural Union. And we are not sleeping. We are working so hard to see that education is key Health is key. Economic transformation is key. I urge the public. Last time, Papa Eriak was talking about education run. I want to tell the public that this is a pinnacle. This is the Kickstarter. And we ask the public to join us, especially in this run. Because in this run, we are just planting a seed that we are supposed to be mentoring, that we are going to groom and see that it bears the fruits in a short run, by the way, not in a long run. That is why you see this run focuses on supporting Emorimor Education Fund that is going to be launched on the D-Day. In Bukedea, this year it is dedicated, when you look at the theme of the coronation anniversary, the third coronation anniversary, it talks about educating a girl and a boy child. That is the background at which we have decided to say, let's start with the resource mobilization towards this pocket. So that by the day we are launching, we have something already to start from. And we are mobilizing resources. If you know that you need to support education, let me tell you, we have seen the girls who lose parents at a tender age. The children are very bright from school, but they end up dropping out. We have said, first of all, no to school dropout, and to build on it, actually, the key solution will be education, a more education fund. And this run here, we expect it to be miraculous. We want to send a voice, a strong voice, out to the public that this run will speak volumes if we support it. If we come on board and own it as a community, that much as you know that solving a problem begins by acting, by involving. Let's involve ourselves and see that we all take part in this Emorimor Fund.
My name is Sheikh Obilan Bakar Umar, and I'm the Regional Assistant to His Eminence the Mufti of Uganda, in charge Iteso Karamoja Muslim region. With very specific emphasis, I would like to thank Papa Emorimor for his inclusive approach to community challenges. I am here as a Regional Assistant Mufti to emphasize on the ongoing exercise that Papa Emorimor is mobilizing the entire Ateker to come and join the development efforts that are being carried by the institution. As a religious leader and as a child of Islam, I would like to invite the entire Ateker that let's join hands. Papa is very inclusive. That's why I'm also able to come here to support the activities of the cultural institution. I would like to call upon the Muslim community, call upon the general public that the inclusive approach that Papa Emorimor has exhibited deserves to be supported, and we need to come together and ensure that all the activities that have been mentioned about Dr. Akadev, and then we also have the run, then we shall also have the coronation anniversary, the third coronation anniversary. I would like to thank Papa Ikiriki for all the information that he has given to the public, and I'd like to encourage everybody to come on board and support Papa Emorimor's development initiative.
Of the Iteso Cultural Union to launch the kit for public to now have opportunity to buy them from the designated areas. If you look at our kit, you can look at the front. It has an emblem from one of our promoters, that is Mobicast. Then of course we have the Iteso logo. Then of course we have our animal print as usual. Then of course it is inscribed as Emorimor Coronation Run 2025. So once you look at this kit, it represents our culture. Then besides that, you can see a small logo of the children, on the kit, and it has everything really that depicts us. Then if you look at the back, it's written Emorimor Run for the Child. As I clearly stated that this year's anniversary, the theme is investing in girl and boy child education. So we're running for these children to see that we raise funds to support them in their education.